very easy. All I did was build this thing to go underneath it and hold it there. A really good shearer doing that little dance they do when they're shearing is a wonderful thing to watch. But there's a heck of a lot of cockies, that myself included, that have got a buggered back and can't shear conventionally. So the old Kiwi adage has got to be an easier way. And on this, you can do 150, a couple hundred a day without any problem at all. So you walk it out like that, lean it up against there. I've started off as wallpaper rollers, an old lambing cradle, and a couple of bike sprockets and bike chains and things, and then just got fine down from there. Basically, I made it for myself. And then it worked so well, and other people saw it and thought, hell, well, that's wonderful. And so then we took it up to the National Field Days at Hamilton.
And it was there that he won a major award, which began his drive to manufacture and export.
It appears to be a bit strange that somebody who invents something actually markets it and manufactures it. And at one stage when we first started exporting, we were told we couldn't export anything because we didn't have an export manager and a finance manager and a business manager, and there was, there was me and mummy and mummy and mummy and the kids that cut bits of steel and all that sort of carry on. Then we push the pedal underneath and around she comes. There's not a hell of a lot of money in basic inventing unless somebody is paying you to develop something, which doesn't happen very often. The initial concept is what takes all the time and the money. There's very little material cost in most practical developments. There's a hell of a lot of time involvement. Then we bring its head around and just quick flick. It's on its back, ready to be released. Hello! Of course, here we can trim its feet, clean its teeth, and all that sort of stuff. We can supply silk and cords for the discerning farmer, but we won't go into that either.
No, we won't. Suffice to say, he's made life easier for the shearer and the sheep. And now he's working on some more top-secret inventions from the shed.
I've got a couple there that I can't show you because I'd have to kill you afterwards, but... And one's actually so secret I've got to work on it blindfolded. It's a bit of a bugger, but...
A couple of years back, Greg actually sold the patent rights to his Moffat shearing table, sold them to RONZ, the Wool Research Organisation of New Zealand. So they're sort of progressing that while he concentrates on other things. That's one way to develop a successful invention. The other, obviously, is that you develop it yourself. Our next inventors have done just that. Here's the result, a sleek and slippery slider. What are we looking at here?
Well, that's our test bed craft.
Oh, OK. So this was the very first one?
You could say that.
This is the one that'll go into the museums of hopper history.
It was built to the same dimensions as our drawings, and we fitted all out the machinery and fans. So essentially, it's the engineering of it's the same as our finished craft over here.
The slider's a cross between a jet ski and a conventional hovercraft.
People often say, is it made here in New Zealand or did you import it from the States? And I think they're pleasantly surprised that it is designed and made here in New Zealand. Oh, once we tell them, they're really proud about it. You know? Wow, this is a Kiwi design, you know. We were looking at the folk that were using personal watercraft, the jet boat type fraternity, those sort of folk that were looking for an exhilarating thrill, something different.
Yeah.
That was the market we were really looking at.
Buzz seekers.
Yeah, buzz seekers.
It's a low-flying aircraft, and it's got a level of freedom that no other vehicle has.
Amongst the things you patented are the skirt design, the way the air is held under the craft and keeps it operating smoothly. The other thing is the basic shape of it.
It's design, which is a copyright, that's right.
And that's your idea, your unique approach. No one's ever thought of that before.
Well, I'm sure people have thought of it. Whether they've actually put it into practice like we have, that's something else.
Nigel and Stephen started out making hovercraft separately before putting their heads and sheds together. But getting into a factory and gearing up for full production hasn't happened overnight.
3 years?
3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, that's when we started in earnest, but the idea had been, the seed had been there for many years before that. There's something almost magic about them, and it's almost that age-old dream of levitation. You know, man can lift off the ground a wee bit and travel wherever he likes. And I think there's a little bit of that in there and the way they work.
Suppose I walk in off the street today and I say, wow, I want one. How much am I going to have to write out a cheque for in order to actually take one home?
At the moment, the price is 27,500, including GST, but
That's New Zealand.
New Zealand dollars.
It's going to be very attractive overseas, isn't it? But given the exchange rate.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We had a sale this morning on the internet. The chap has purchased a video from us, has viewed it, and he's given us his credit card number to pay the deposit for a craft sight unseen.
And he's from the UK.
From the
UK.
UK. Has it been easy to persuade investors to get involved?
The banks are certainly very cautious.
Does that frustrate you?
I guess it has in the past from time to time.
I mean, if you'd had money available quicker, would it have been on the market sooner?
Oh, definitely. We could
Absolutely.
have a factory up and running, producing 4 or 5 a week by now if the finance was available.
Right.
Our sales have certainly been limited by what we can produce. So,
Well, it's a good way of doing things. We've done it, and we haven't had to rely on too many other people. And that's worthwhile. And that's the Kiwi way anyway. That's the way we do things.
Extraordinary. You know, you wouldn't believe it. It's like floating on a cushion of air. After the break, we meet the Sheddy who's found a new use for number 8 wire and 2 thumbs up for our next invention.